I'm Duncan Criscoe, owner of Crooked Pines Farm. I'm here with my wife Angela Criscoe and my son Dawson. In late September, we took a trip to Sparta, North Carolina to the tree farm where your Christmas tree is growing right now. Stick around with us and see the story of everything that goes into the production of your Christmas tree. As we catch up with Seth Andrews, he starts us at the youngest trees on the farm, the seedlings. And interesting to note, in the seedling patch that you'll see, there's over 100,000 Christmas trees growing. And it's also interesting to hear the time frame in which it takes from seedlings to the time that it's planted on the mountain.
Mix sawdust with it, and to mix them all up in a 5-gallon bucket, and it's the reason for sawdust, it disperses it evenly. See, I don't have no machine that does it. Yeah, see, they're starting to grow here. Some roots starting to grow. Yeah, it's getting white at the end.
Yeah.
You get this little almost like paper stuff. This is when your fiber roots are starting to come on out. They'll make this little thing, and they'll turn real white at the end.
Okay.
See how they're real white?
Right.
They're getting ready to grow.
As you can see in the video, quality control is something that's always on Seth's mind. As we're going through this bed, he can't help himself but to pull the trees out that aren't going to meet his specifications.
I have an undercutter that comes and we drive over top of this thing. A big undercutter comes underneath and lifts them right up to the top of the ground. The guys come pull them up. And then they're lined out to what these right here are put in 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
And the machine plants these. 6 guys ride it. And these are ready to go to the field.
Okay.
So they're lifted from that and then planted in these. And these right here are ready to go to the field.
How long from the time, like you'll move those over here?
And then they'll stay in 3 years in this.
Another 3 years. And those have been there for 2 years.
3 years.
3 years,
yeah.
3 years.
And 6, and then this is what you call a 3-3.
Okay.
That's a 3-0. And then it's 3 years in a seed bed, 3 years in a line-out bed makes them a 3-3. So they're 6 years old.
Okay.
And then you take and plant them in the seed. And then you wait 6, 7, 8 years to harvest them. All these trees on this place right here was hand planted. So believe it or not, these trees are only 4 years old. Not that one year. This farm right here, the planting when we first come in is 6 rotations of farming on this one piece of ground right here. And that's about unheard of this day and time. For Phytophthora cinnamoma, which in common terms is root rot. But you'll see we don't have no dead trees.
Right.
And root rot will take over this whole farm if it gets in here. And once root rot's ever in here, it can never go back with the Fraser fir.
Now, is the shaping of a Christmas tree, is that something that you do from every year? You'll come through and you'll trim trees?
Yes, sir. Sure do. Every year starting around 1st of August, when they start hardening off. Hardening off meaning this new growth turns hard. When it first comes out, these tops and everything will be laying over, and you think, man, this is the ugliest patch of trees I've ever seen. But lo and behold, the top is the last thing to straighten up. These start hardening up, straightening up, and getting stiff. And then you don't want to wait too late because they get real hard, and it's harder for the guys to trim them. The top terminal is the last thing to straighten up. Now these trees will be ready next year. They're going to be some nice trees.
As we continue our tour on the mountain, Seth explains the difference between a number 1 and a number 2 Fraser Christmas tree. All of the trees that will be on display at our lot are going to be a number 1 or a number 2 quality. This is an example of a number 1.
Yeah.
Show me an example of a number 2.
Here you go. A little less dense. This is what we call a 5 to 6.5 foot tall tree.
Okay.
Number 2. Right here is a 6 to 8 number 2.
That's a number 2 because of the density.
Yeah, and sometimes you know it's a little light, and you're seeing gaps. USDA standards for a #1 tree is 3 good sides, and you can't see 90% of the trunk. So I'm seeing the trunk here and there. You stand and look at this tree. You can't see that trunk all the way down through here.
Okay.
Sides up in here, and that's you know, it's inedible. You're going to see part of the top of it there.
This would be a #1. Okay.
That's an 8 to 10 #2.
Tree.
Well, we grade them a little bit. Now, to me, that's perfect for what I'd want.
Exactly. That's right. That would be a tree that would be in my house, not a problem.
Yep, yep. And the one beside it, see, it's just a little bit heavier density.
And that's a #1.
Yep.
It's just incredible.
It's a 7 to 8 foot tree, heavy density, not too wide. But, you know, it's hard to explain to a lot of people. Well, I don't, you know, I need a narrow tree. To get a tree tall, it's got to be so wide. I mean, you can't do nothing else with it.
Right. Many of you might be wondering why we don't grow our own trees here in Eaton. Seth will answer that question right now. A tree like this, where we have 90-degree weather all the time, if I put this tree in the ground at my house, what would it do?
It's done.
It'd die.
Yep. You guys don't have the right soil for it. This tree right here, it's got the polka dot in it. The reason the polka dot's in it, that tree won't be trimmed. It'll never make nothing. So what we'll do with that tree is for all of our wreaths and stuff, we'll come in here and take a chainsaw from here down and strip every limb off of it for our brush.
Okay. Like you've got your boxwoods and all those mix of your wreaths. Where does that material come from? Is it coming from, you've got farming for boxwoods?
And you know, we buy a lot of the brush too.
Okay.
See, here's a tree we cut up for limbs last year.
Okay.
We don't use the top part because that don't make pretty wreaths. It's round. Ideally, you want something that's rather flat for wreaths. You see how flat this is? When you get up here, this is round. Now we make a lot of those centerpieces.
Right.
We use the round for those.
Okay. As we continue our travels, Seth explains the process of how the wreaths and other ornamental decorations are made. One of the things I want to point out during this section of the video is the green wreath that you see, as well as the baled tree in his barn. Those have both been cut and baled for over 2 months, and they're still holding their green, crisp color.
This is a big wreath. In other words, they'll take this thing, put it like this right here. Take your greenery and put it in your hand, and then just mash this right here, and then clamps them down. I give a good height on my trees.
Okay.
Every one of this right here, this is starting. The white tag is a 6 to 7. That starts it.
Okay.
And it goes to 7'6". On the top of my hand, 7 foot 6 inches.
Okay.
So when you see a white tag, you know at least it's 6'6". The claws right here. This thing, stick the bud in the tree. This thing grabs it. That foot over there, pulls it through. They pull both of these sprouts out right here. And we tie most of them on the bottom branch and pull that lever, mash the foot pedal through there.
Okay.
5 seconds. Bale a tree up like that. You pull them strings, see how tight that thing is. That tree's been baled. That tree's been cut for 2 months. It's still green.
We hope this video has answered the questions about where your Christmas tree comes from. I want to close by saying that our family is very excited about opening the Christmas tree light this year and inviting your family to share in the experience of having a wonderful Christmas by picking your own fresh cut Fraser fir. So, Dawson, how are you going to help out on the farm during Christmas?
I'm going to be the mascot.
The mascot? Well, what are you going to be a mascot of?
You'll have to come to Crooked Pines Farm to find out. To find out more about our farm, go to www.crookedpinesfarm.com.